is this process that we're going through now helping us in a way to actually get to know our ego and help to develop that and mature the ego in any way?
Yeah, you're talking about the fact that people are stressed within the inauthentic life?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, see, this is where I differ a lot from those people in other areas of this community, where I have no problem seeing all the harangue and the stress and the frustration and the sort of I look at that as very positive, because you shouldn't get comfortable with a lie.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see people burned out, stressed out, complaining, frustrated. I want to see those so-called darker emotions operating, because I know what those darker emotions are. Those darker emotions that you hate, you think is called hate and anger and loneliness, you see in fear. Those are just terms. Those are, again, words that you have blocked your higher self. The higher self is working overtime to wake you up from a delirium. You're caught within the roles. You're caught within that scaffolding. You're caught in the cage of the inauthentic life. You are miles away from your dharma and your inauthentic existence. You've had everyone from your parents to your peers to your fellow friends, so-called friends, teachers, politicians, and priests, and the whole world erase your individuality. So of course you're going to be screaming inside. I don't want to medicate you. I don't want to create a new age cult where I can liberate you from your angst. I want to introduce you to your angst. That angst, right? What did Nietzsche say? Beware casting out your demons. You may be casting out the best part of you.
Yeah.
People think he was satanic, crazy. No, he was a philosopher who understood. Let's hope that those dark forces that are banging on your door get in.
So you can root. It's a form of exorcism.
It's a form of catharsis, an exorcism.
Yeah.
You may be so personally traumatized that when they come in you die from shock. Well, too bad. That's the price we're willing to pay. But they're not killing you. You're killing yourself in fear of a shadow you don't understand. See, the unconscious always shines back the face that looks into it. That's why the greatest symbol of the unconscious is the mirror.
Yeah.
Because the face that the unconscious takes on, or they say more specifically, the face that the content of the unconscious takes on when it comes into consciousness, is predicated upon your own ego defenses. Meaning that what you look into is like this atomic level thing. The face that looks into the unconscious is reflected back. So if the face that's looking into the unconscious is fearful, pathological, toxic, scared, etc., content will take on that shape.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Even looking exactly, and we have come this far now in a way because of also the technological advancement through, that we have the means now to look into that deep down into atoms and go so far into it.
And what are they going to see when they get there?
Exactly, themselves. Yeah.
Now remember, if people find this concept hard to deal with, they explored it in Star Trek V: The Final Frontier, when they literally go in search of God. And when they get there, everybody sees a different God. Or the main hero in the show, the protagonist, doesn't see what he thought he saw. And luckily he wakes up to the point. He discovers that the God he's seeing is a projection of his own self. It's beautifully, that's why the movie is very positive, is because the person discovers his own insanity at that point. He realizes, oh my God, I created this myself. So we are doing that. So I am very much a person who looks at all of this social confusion, worldly confusion. I don't like to see people medicating themselves. I don't want people to run away from it. Well, I know why they're doing it. You see, people are already in an escape from the real. So people go, we're providing escapes. The media provides escapes. No, you're already in escape. Your whole life is an escape from the real. So your medicating yourself and finding escapes and finding deviations from this horrible cage that you're in is also natural. Of course you would want to escape from it. All I'm saying to people is to escape from it totally. Because remember, part of the sorcery, this is the theme of our show here, is that the sorcery is to keep you within the cage, but giving you the illusion that it's okay to be in the cage because we'll offer you a bunch of false freedoms. What would you call it? The illusion of freedom.
Yeah.
So, and they'll lay on anything. As long as the door remains locked. And you don't really ask for the key.
Yeah.
Right? Because they know that people will get frustrated sitting in a corner of the room or hiding under the balcony, hiding under the staircase. So there's an incredible manufacture of stimuli for that person who does not believe that they are in control of their lives. And remember, you asked why is this happening? It's because there's a certain kind of safety within the cage. Within that prison, there's a certain kind of, safety and security.
No, of course, yeah.
This is Patrick McGowan points this out in his Prisoner series, that people are very happy to be in there because everything's provided, everything's laid on.
Yeah. No need to ask any questions, you don't need to go off on a tangent and, protest against evil governments or whatever. Everything you want to have is basically a little bit within your reach, if it's a new car or PlayStation or whatever it might be.
Everything will be laid on. Everything from A to Z will be laid on. In the Prisoner series, they say questions are a burden and answers a prison for oneself. Don't think. Stop your. We'll just make it pleasure, pain, less work, more play. No, more. This era will be more play, less work. So it's very cut down, very small, and those reward mechanisms, merit. Remember in the Guardian movie, merit. Get that badge.
Yeah.
Get that badge. Eviscerate your selfhood and get that award. And stop your own processes. Repress and society suppresses you, but you repress yourself. And so when we talked about the divisions there, yin and yang, eros, logos, Sophia, logos. There's also another one, which is repression, suppression. You repress yourself, and society suppresses you. So there's another two forms, you see. And people get happy with this kind of regression and this conformity. And this kind of conformity is in everything you look at, from the cars now to the houses, the boxes people live in, the foods that they're given to eat, even the so-called and then there's these so-called escapes from it, which is the new cults, the new fashions that people think, oh, that's so much expression of my individuality. Okay, created by who? Benetton and Ralph Polo Lauren and Tommy Hilfiger. They're going to create your image for you now?
Yeah.
And you're claiming to be an individual? Good God, what kind of delusion or poisoning are people under?
Yeah. So this is an art, it seems like, of the controllers, or the social engineers to keep this cage of the inauthentic life, as we talked about, the illusion of freedom and all of that. But this is an art that has been, I guess, developed over, I don't know if we should say millennia or hundreds of years or whatever, to provide you with all the entertainments and things that you can escape into. But this art, as it were, do you think that also connects with the fact that, because we talked about this, about there is no need for the clamp down or the the total annihilation of the population, or hands-on kind of we actually go to the lengths where you suppress the population through a military action or something like that, because we, in a way, I guess we live in the perfect society for the controllers now, because everything is in place to keep the to sustain the way we live now, right?
Yep. War on consciousness, perception control, perception management, opinion control. The real adroit war, and I'm not saying that people within the power hierarchy don't want to go out and just murder and kill. They've tried that in the past. But we're now in an era in which it's thought control.
Yeah.
It's consensus trance. It's perception management. So much more subtle, forms of control. This is the art. And you're talking, yes, this art of manipulation, this art of... See, the sorcerers have to not only create the cage, create the inauthentic life, they have to sustain it and prolong it. Creating it is one thing, but you create something, somebody else can take it down 5 minutes later. So it's much more than just creating inauthentic life and all these roles and all of this, this religious stuff and that's going on in the world. They have to maintain it and update it. This is a whole thing to be continually revamped and made.
Expand it maybe into the areas that you potentially want to go into, or offer you, let's say that you have a need for something and a grassroots movement within society, and they can offer a counter solution to that, revamp, as you say.
Inauthentic forms of freedom. We're talking about inauthentic life. We're talking about the cage of the inauthentic person. Well, can't they then invent an inauthentic version of freedom?
Yeah, definitely.
It's so easy. I mean, people who've checked out the work of Edward Bernays, and the whole manufacturing of consent and the engineering of consent and how you take people's inner desires, you see, and manipulate those. Because remember, if there, I've always said it from day one, if you find that there is something impeding a man's spiritual progress, it is often not his own desire that's the problem.
Mm.
There's obstacles in his way.
Mm.
You got to remove those obstacles. You don't have the choice to re-hardwire the person. You can't instill what's not there.
Mm.
But you do have the right to remove the obstacles on the path in front of that person,
Mm.
or at least make them aware of those obstacles. But there's people who are putting obstacles in the way. They're creating this whole artifice, which is extremely elaborate. If people can just understand that, it's very, very elaborate.
Mm.
And luckily, people I relate with, that talk on the forum or, come to my talks, they are starting to become very aware of just how elaborate this sustenance and maintenance of the lie is.
Mm.
It's very, very, ambient.
Mm.
It takes many forms.